Come on, man. You coming and doing smacking and crunching. We about to go on.
I was eating some chips. I was eating some chips. After that game, I mean, what you want me to do? You know,
You ate
that
during the
game
game.
was just about
Nothing else to do. Yeah, the
enjoy
whole
what
fourth
game.
quarter, you could have hit this concession.
You enjoyed that?
I said during the game, you could have ate the chips. It wasn't like you was doing
I was too busy throwing stuff at the TV.
All right, can one of y'all do the introduction, please?
Yo, we here the uncensored Philly Sports Podcast. Even after that, we here, y'all. That shows the commitment we got. Catch us on our platforms, like, subscribe, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, the Instagram, iTunes. Check us out. You know, like, subscribe, support the channel. We appreciate y'all. We here after the Boston Celtics just destroyed the Detroit Pistons. It was a blowout. Oh no, it was the Sixers.
The Sixers. I was about to say the Detroit Pistons.
It was the Sixers, right? The Sixers lost like that. Man, they look like the worst team in the league.
Tonight they did.
I mean, listen. Boston was hot. They was 50% from three, 25 for something, over 50%. Even though that being the case, even though they're hot, we played hot teams before, but to have be down 50 at one point is inexcusable to me. Was it the hype? Was it the hype of the press conference with Harden? You know what I mean? We feeling ourselves, the team feeling ourselves, themselves, the fans, we feeling ourselves. We all with this hype with Harden, what we gonna do? He ain't here yet. He ain't playing yet. Play what we got. And that looked terrible. I know it's a lot of questions. I know a lot of people want to say something. Did we give up too much for the Harden trade? Did we do this, do that? We're going to get into all that because I know that's coming. I know it's coming, Tim. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get into it.
Yeah, Tim ain't the only one. They already in the comments talking that nonsense.
They say, did we give up too much? Oh, man.
Hold First of all, everybody be giving up too much. What was Seth Curry going to do tonight? What was Seth Curry had done against Jaylen Brown? Boston shot 45 3-pointers.
Harden had to have 50. Harden needed 50 to keep us in the game.
Maybe he would have. Or maybe if Doc would have set Toby down because Toby refused to shoot and wasn't grabbing no rebounds and should have brought Paul Reed or Millsap in to go along with Embiid so you at least get some rebounds in the game. Or maybe he should have set Thibault down when Thibault couldn't stop anybody and Thibault shooting 0 for 5 from 3 and bring in a young Isaiah Joe or somebody, bring in some young bulls to bring in some energy. We got beat up in the beginning of this game. And Doc sat there and watched that. He should have did something to try to infuse something into that team. That being said, I think Boston still would have won because Boston was just Boston rolling right now. And we didn't have enough. But Doc did not do his team any favors tonight.
I'm not blaming this on Doc. I'm not blaming this on Doc one bit. The reason why we lost the game is because we didn't match the energy that they came with today. Simple as that. They came out.
That's why I'm blaming the coach.
It's not the coach's fault. It's you can't blame him for playing Tobias. He played Tobias the regular minutes that he normally plays. Tobias decided that he didn't want to shoot tonight. He decided.
I know you want to make a point, but real quick, though, Tim, are you telling me we talked about Doc not getting the feel for the game sometimes? This is what y'all was saying about him, right? So in this game, should he not have gotten the feel and said, we're getting manhandled, bring some muscle in this game? Bring in a vet like Millsap to hit somebody.
You don't know Millsap's game. Millsap hasn't even played all year long. He hasn't played all year. They had him. He was in Atlanta. You're asking
bring in Paul Reed, who's been hustling and grabbing rebounds.
The hottest team in the league right now. He's in Atlanta playing pickup ball. He said with his brother, you want him to just put him in there like, yo, you better than Tobias, who's been playing very well for the last 2.5 weeks. You got to put this on the players. This goes on the players tonight. The players decided not to show up
twice. Go ahead, Tim. My fault. Name it on the players. I agree.
Then B stopper.
Stop.
He did his thing. He did his thing.
B stopper.
Don't even hate. He did his thing.
You keep.
What are y'all watching? He was getting triple teamed because nobody can hit nothing. What are y'all watching? And he still had 17 points. He had 17 points at the half. He stopped Embiid.
He shot 11 free throws. 17. It wasn't because he was.
And you know why you shoot free throws? Because they trying to manhandle. They was hacking him. What are y'all looking at? They got triple teamed.
Every time he plays Al Horford asks him for he asks him for his green card. Like, listen, I own you.
Listen, Boston was just hot, man. They was hot.
They were.
It was hot. And B trying to step back, he walked. That's funny because I know everybody's seen the video of B Harden trying to teach him B to step back, and he kept saying, Cassell kept telling him, he's walking.
And the
So he
refs
tried during the game.
did.
The refs probably seen it too. He tried it during the game. Sure enough, he got called for the walk.
Yeah.
But listen, Tatum, nobody can stop Tatum and Brown. Is that going to change? Let me ask you. We couldn't stop Tatum and Brown. Is that going to change when Harden comes? Let me ask that.
Well, put it this way. We were shorthanded, but we beat them twice this season. They beat us. They beat us twice, but at full strength, we beat them twice, and they beat us once. They beat us the first time we played against them, and we beat them 2 times in between, and then they just beat this one while we're shorthanded. So I'm not panicking about that. Like we just played against them with the full.
I don't want to panic, but I kept saying we need a bench. We need to strengthen that bench.
Yeah.
Even when Harden comes back, our bench is trash.
It is.
I'm sorry, man. Our bench ain't no good.
But at least they saw
Shake.
Yang. It's the same bench we just had. Everybody saying we gave up. It's the same bench.
I've been screaming we need to strengthen our bench, though. You know I've been saying that. I've been wanting to strengthen that bench. We unathletic, like I always say. We're not athletic enough. We seen when our dudes was getting away. Boston was athletic enough to not let Toby get past him. He played terrible. Let's not forget, Toby got strapped.
Absolutely.
He got strapped.
Absolutely.
So he couldn't do nothing on Tatum. Whoever was on him, Toby could not get past him. So and they was athletic enough to trap Bede and get off the double when he kicked it. And Bede made bad passes throughout the double tonight. He wasn't seeing the floor well. I don't know what that was about. I don't know if they was long and athletic, kind of threw him off. But he had a couple of turnovers trying to pass out the double. He did have some good looks, but he had a couple. It was just a bad game all around. We couldn't do nothing right. You have those games. You live with it.
He made a lot of good passes. They just didn't hit. They was off. The Sixers couldn't hit the side of a barn tonight. Maxey went 3 for 9. Tobias wasn't shooting. What B shot? 4 for 10?
Bench does matter. Hold on, Phil. Bench does matter in the playoffs. You need at least 1 or 2 people on your bench. Look at Milwaukee last year. They had the boy Bobby Portis off the bench, balling. You need at least a player or 2 coming off that bench. Bench gonna matter. Bench is definitely gonna matter. Yeah. You ain't like dudes just playing 48 minutes a game. That's why the Nets lost. Because KD just couldn't come out the game and he ran out of gas. Bench, don't sit here and say bench ain't gonna matter. It's gonna matter.
I'm telling you, I was a little frustrated, but at the same time, sometimes you need these games in the regular season. They happen sometimes. Maybe not by 50 points, but every team once in a while get blown out at home or on the road. So I'm not trying to put too much into it, but I saw a few things that didn't sit well with me. When we were winning a lot of our games, Danny Green had limited minutes playing. I don't want to see him playing 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes a game. That's not who he is right now. He'll never be that player again. And I know we probably playing him because we don't have Steph anymore. But man, I guess
that's why I said you should have put the young boy. That's why I'm saying the doc. You see what Danny Green has been giving you. If Danny Green is not playing solid defense and you see his shot is off, put it. And I'm not saying Isaiah Joe is going to be the savior and anything else. But my thing is, if you're looking at your team and you're seeing some of the struggles they have, I do believe that earlier in the game, if you bring Joel a little bit of help inside, where another big man, like I said, Paul Reed is fighting on boards. He's shown you that the last couple games. Bring in Paul Reed and take Thibault out. Thibault wasn't stopping nobody. Bring in Paul Reed and slide Toby down or take Toby out too. But I'm saying bring in Paul Reed down there. Bring somebody in there that when Embiid is shooting that mid-range, you at least have somebody in there scrapping for boards and grabbing boards. See, when you see Millsap and Reed coming later on in the game, you saw them hustling and grabbing boards. You saw them down there banging on boards.
See, this is my problem with Thibault that I always have. If defense ain't clicking, yes, very good defensive player. But if defense ain't clicking, why is he in the game? You know what I mean? He not hitting shots. He not doing nothing else for you.
0 for 6, all 3-pointers.
Yeah, all 3-pointers. So this is my whole problem with Thibault, and everybody loves Thibault. If defense ain't clicking, he's useless. You might as well set him to the bench for the rest of the game. And now you down a player. That's what I mean with him sometimes. It's like playing 4-on-5 because he gives you nothing, 0 offensively.
But I'm talking about our whole bench stunk. I'm looking at Shake was 2 for 10.
Thibault started, didn't he?
Yeah, but I'm just saying Shake was 20%. Korkmaz was 2 for 7. I mean, we got nothing from nobody. Everybody just stunk. The best player was like Paul Millsap was 3 for 6. Maybe you're right, Wayne. Maybe we should have started or played him early.
I'm just saying, and I'm not saying that either of these guys would have been the savior. All I'm saying is, if you see that they're throwing triple teams on Embiid when he's going down there, they're sending the power forward over, and sometimes even Tatum's coming down there, and you see that they're doing this, and he's kicking out, and Tobias is scared to shoot as soon as he touch it, and he try to run in, and they body him. He pump fake and he kicking it back out. And you see all these other guys like even Maxey was playing timid. So when you see all this stuff, at some point you have to infuse some energy. Danny Green wasn't hitting none. Tell a young Isaiah Joe, you know what, young boy, get in there and play. Like, bring some energy. Put him and Paul Reed in there to bring some energy or something. Not just sit there and watch the hole get bigger and bigger.
Well,
and we play Milwaukee next without Harden.
Hopefully, Giannis is out. He didn't play yesterday because he sprained his ankle. I'm hoping he's still out. But what I'm looking at this Boston roster because I think they legit. But what was interesting is that the squad that they have now is kind of the same squad they used to beat us a couple years ago. Like they got Horford back, they got the boy Tice back, they got they upgraded at their backup point guard position. Remember they had the boy from LA, they got rid of him, and they put the guy in from San Antonio who was very good. He was actually playing better than Maxey. Maxey couldn't do nothing with him today. They made subtle tweaks to make their roster that much stronger. So they may be eventually they might be in the conversation as far as top teams in the East.
I don't care about no Isaiah Joe. I don't think he's a factor. You know, he could nothing Isaiah Joe could have done in there to help us tonight.
He would have played better defense than Korkmaz.
Against who? Against Tatum or
just in team defense in general. Like I'm saying, all I'm saying is I'm looking at Boston come down. Boston drove down the paint.
Giannis
and
playing,
kicked it out for
never mind that.
That's all Boston did all night. They drove into the paint and kicked out for threes. And as they're shooting them threes, I see nobody around them. Korkmaz, Danny, none of them. I see nobody around these shooters, and they got hot. And then after that, they just start shooting in the Sixers' face. They shot 55% from three. Our defenders on the perimeter were trash tonight, every last one of them.
Let me ask y'all this. If we put up a poll and asked again, are y'all happy with this Harden trade? You think we have the same reaction or would it be different?
You talking about tonight with the erratic living in the moment? No, because we got guys like you and Tim. They be like, I don't know about this trade. I don't know. We gave up too much.
We all in. We all in. I want to see what it look like winning. We all in.
Tim ain't all in. Tim ain't all in.
I'm all in. What are you talking about?
No, Tim was calling B the bum. Come on, we gave up too much. Tim was all in his bag tonight. He was real giddy that we.
I'm all in.
That's why I'm so heated right now because Tim was real giddy. He was real giddy.
I was just trolling you because I
don't want to hear that.
You be irritating me with the Jaylen stuff. So I said, let me keep running it.
Yo,
Tim was so giddy. He tried to compare James Harden to Jalen Hurts.
What you about to say?
Harden gotta come save us, man. I guess. So we ain't gonna see what that looks like. So after the trade, I just my only thing about is the team better with Harden? I hope so.
I think so.
I mean, where's the backup for? Where's the Drummond? I don't know if we underestimate what Drummond did, but man, or if we overestimate. Did we overestimate what Drummond did as a backup center, or underestimate what he did?
We underestimated.
I don't think either. I don't think anybody over or underestimated it.
But who's filling that void now? When he came in, did great work. Can Paul Reed feel that?
Well, that's what they got to figure out.
I'm hearing that Dwight Howard might be bought out, and we might be able to bring him back.
Oh, they're definitely going to go out for somebody in the buyout market. You already know that they need to get a wing player, and they need to get a backup big.
We need to get athletic down low. We need rebounding. We need something because what I saw from Boston today is, and one of the commentators, they said that they don't give up leads, and we couldn't get back in the game for nothing to save our life. Once they took that lead, and then the refs, oh my God, the refs gave them
early on
road cooking. I know you don't like to blame the refs, but the refs
early on it was a little suspect, but Sixers ain't fight back though. Boston punched him in the mouth. Boston played that old Detroit Pistons in the late 80s type defense on him early on, and the refs was allowing it at first, and then they started giving Embiid all these calls, but they was allowing it in the first. And like Maxey got beat up, he wasn't getting no calls, and then all of a sudden coming down there and they blowing whistles, tic tac. So that being said, Boston still just outplayed the Sixers.
They did.
And listen, you saying overrating Drummond? You know what Drummond average is for the season? In 18 minutes, he averages 6 points and 8.8 rebounds. So I mean, 6 points and 8. Well, now I'll say 9 rebounds. 9 rebounds is outstanding, but it's not like Drummond would have been the difference maker in this game. I mean, I ain't gonna say that. If he would have been willing to play Drummond and Embiid, I think he needed a rebounder in there with Embiid, and I think that's what he needs, especially when you face teams that's going to play him like this. You need a rebounder in there with Joel Embiid. So when he's shooting that mid-range pull-up, if it's 2 or 3 people around him and that mid-range fall off, you need somebody that's at least fighting on the rebounds. And right now, we don't have that.
We don't.
Because what Tobias have on boards? Let me see.
Tobias ain't do nothing. Tobias is soft.
5 stinking rebounds, and half of them was in the second half when the game was over.
And how many points he finished with? 6 points. You're
6.
starting your $180 million baller.
Shooting 2 for 7.
2 for 7. That's your starter. I mean, that's it. Don't play when everybody's rolling. I need you. Sometimes we need him to carry us. Give us the 25, 30 when everybody else is struggling.
But that's my thing tonight. And this is why I had such an issue with him and Danny and Thibault. I mean, Maxey, I still think Maxey was a little bit tentative with certain stuff. I would like to see Maxey be a little bit more aggressive. But that being said, my main problem is with Tobias and Thibault and Danny tonight, because those wing players should have had multiple opportunities to score. The way that they was playing Joel Embiid, they was camping down. They was, as soon as like Horford played him straight up, and as soon as he started making a move inside, they sent a double and triple. And when Embiid was making the pass, Embiid had 3 turnovers. And one of them I remember was because the guard came running down and plucked him from behind. But he actually made some decent passes, and these guys couldn't hit the side of a barn. Our shooting was horrible tonight.
And here's the killer right here. This is where we lost the ball is we don't have a point guard. It was no point guard on a team tonight. I'm looking at the assist, and Maxey had 1 assist as your starting point guard. He had 1 assist, and then the other guard up top, which was Green, he had 1 assist.
So he had 6.
But I'm talking about your guard. We talking about guard.
You only get assists, but you only get assists if people make the shot, and we shot horrible.
Yeah,
like even Maxey made some decent. I'm not saying I thought Maxey made some nice plays to get guys the ball too. Like these guys couldn't hit. And that's why James Harden is actually going to be our point guard. The way that they talk, we're going to get into the point guard earlier a little bit later. But they was talking like James is going to be the playmaker, the point guard, set the pace, and that's what we need.
This is a lot of film they can watch. This is a lot of.
Who's the backup point guard?
We don't have a backup.
Maxey and Shake. Okay. I mean, I know Shake only shot 2 for 10, but I actually didn't. I didn't feel like Shake was scared or shook tonight. It just was like he was off. Shake was attacking and trying to hit that runner. We had a lot of shots, and it's not excuses. I'm just saying, if we even though a lot of our shots was like rattling in and out, it seemed like we was the road team. Like these are home courts. Like we don't know what the rims is like on. Like every shot, it was like rattling around the rim and falling out. Whereas though Boston had shots, they were so hot. They had shots that were like hitting the rim like 3-4 times, hit the backboard and fall in. So it was just one of them nights, but it was an irritating night.
Sean Lynch. I don't know why Joel taking fadeaway mid-range shots.
See this what I'm saying with y'all. Joel has hit fadeaway mid-range shots all season. Like these are the shots he's been hitting. So if the shot is off right now, it was off a couple shots right now. So why are you saying what? So what is he supposed to take? If there's 3 men down there guarding him in the paint, he's supposed to just run into the 3 men and shoot? What is he supposed to do?
So you're saying the only option is the fadeaway shot behind the backboard?
Does he hit those fadeaway shots? Does he hit step? See, this is my point. This is the same thing with this. My issue. It's the same thing when you talk about a Steph Curry. if you're looking at a lot of Steph Curry shots, you'd be like, man, that was a bad shot. That's a bad shot. But when it's Steph Curry, it's not because he hits those shots.
Yeah.
These shots we get to complaining about Joel Embiid. These are shots that he hit. These are shots that he's been hitting and consistently hitting. So if he's having an off night or just missing that shot tonight, then that's just tonight.
We need. I mean, I don't want to be again. It's only one game, so I don't want to get too crazy about it. But I gotta admit that Steph Curry pure shooting is something that's missing from this team, and you saw it today. It's quite evident.
So what was Steph Curry shooting his last 10 games with the Sixers?
It's not about this.
No.
Because he's a threat. No, because you're trying to dismiss the fact that he's a threat. I tell you what he did yesterday. He had 23 points.
Okay,
all over the place.
So again, you're living in the moment of one game, and I like Seth, but let's not act like he wasn't. He's averaging 16 points a game. Let's not act like he wasn't shooting like his worst from 3-point this season in a long time.
42% is great for 90% of the league. 90% of the league. So because he's down 3, and it's a brand new. But I don't think
so. The reason we lost tonight was because we didn't have Steph Curry. The Sixers do still got some guys that can shoot. They just wasn't hitting.
We don't got guys that can shoot like Seth.
Stop.
We don't. Who on our team shoot as well as Seth?
I think you're over. I think you and a bunch of other people over evaluating what Steph Curry brings.
So you telling me that Steph Curry is an elite shooter?
Okay. Steph Curry shot 10 for 18. He shot 10 for 18 last night, Sacramento. He didn't play against Miami. Against Phoenix, he went for 9. Against Chicago, he went 5 for 15. Dallas, he went 4 for 9, but got lit up on defense. He had 11 points, 4 for 9.
See, now
he shot 4 for 15 versus Memphis. He shot 3 for 10 versus Sacramento.
You trying to discount what him being a threat?
I'm not discounting, but I'm saying stop over-evaluating what he was. We got James Harden back for him.
Until he gets on the court, though, right now, I'm saying that was a missing piece that we had.
Stop. Not having Steph Curry wasn't the reason we lost tonight.
If he makes it easier, they can't come in and double up on Embiid like that if Seth out there.
Why can't they just need one person on Seth? So what's the difference?
No, because Seth is a threat, and he helps Maxey get open. Like now, if you got Maxey, Seth, and then Embiid,
half of Seth's shots come off of Embiid setting picks for him up top.
Why is it? There's a reason why they was able to throw 2 or 3 people on Embiid tonight, because there was no threat of somebody knocking down big shots at the time. There was no threat there.
The Sixers was just off. If
there was no threats, that's why they was able to collapse on Embiid. The threat has been neutralized because he's in Brooklyn right now.
Okay, simple. Go ahead. I'm not even going to argue with you with this foolishness. You got to just be trolling right now.
Thank you. Miriam Amir says Steph Curry is a good player, and I'm
not saying that he's not a good player, but don't sit there and make it like Steph Curry was the reason we lost because we ain't have Steph. This feeds into all these people talking. We gave up too much for Harden. We gave up Steph Curry. Ben Simmons wasn't playing anyway. So from our roster right now, what we were missing tonight was we was missing 2 players. We were missing our starting 2 guard, and we were missing a backup center. So now, if you're talking about that trade, so now we'll have James Harden instead of Steph Curry. You don't think that's an upgrade?
I'd rather have both.
You're not getting both. You got to give up something.
Well,
so you would have rather gave up Maxey or Thibault?
What I would have rather have done if doing a trade, I like the fact that we got James Harden. However, if you could tell me that we could just get Harden in the off season, I would have kept the roster that we had now and roll it out, and then just picked up Harden in the off season. And that was an option for us.
Thank you, Ephraim. Please come here. I want to hear. Ephraim was at the game. Please, Ephraim, speak. Did you hear? Did you hear the foolishness Tim is talking tonight?
Yeah, I heard the foolishness.
Go ahead, please.
I agree with Wayne. Steph Curry was not the reason why we lost this game. Somebody said, and I was looking at the comments. I commented a little earlier too, and I was looking at the comments. It was just one of them nights. It was one of them rare nights when you real off and the other team real on. Like, I mean, they came out splashing. They couldn't miss nothing. Like, everybody was hitting. We was off. Tobias played his worst game in about a whole month and a half.
maybe 2 months. It was one of them nights. You know what I mean? So I'm not too overly concerned. This is around the time. Oh boy, I got my dog going off. This is around the time you get late and right before the All-Star break.
People you got Chihuahua?
No, my daughter dog is a beagle. This is, you got to get to the All-Star break. People kind of start mentally shutting it down. Be probably thinking about, everybody thinking about their plans. Boston came out on fire. They on the streak. They hot right now. They hot, and we ran into a buzzsaw of a team that's hot. We was off, and it was ugly. It was real ugly. But I'm not overly concerned, to be honest.
Let me tell you something. You're not going to tell me if Harden was in this game, and Harden and Embiid, they both would have had like 50 foul shots a night. Because Boston was just playing very physical. And the only person that was going to get the calls from the Sixers was Embiid. But Boston was playing very physical, and I give them their credit because they did play physical, and you could see it taking a toll on Embiid, but they was throwing bodies at him. You had Horford and then the other ball off the side. Then you bring in Dice is in there, and he just come in hacking and hitting people. They just came in and they played physical. That's why they built their team like that, so that they could throw these bodies at Embiid. So
I agree. I agree. They was all. Yeah, I mean, it was funny. One turnover, B had me and my son at the game. He was like, "Yo, they swarmed." It was like 4 people just swarmed the ball. I was like,
Tim said Horford stopped him 1-on-1 all night, though. That's what Tim said.
No, listen, Horford. I've been on record to say Horford does a good job against B. He does. I give him credit.
He's the NBA stopper.
But they play great. They do play great team defense. They do. Charlie M. Yeah, you're right. I had to see it up close. It was ugly. We was booing and throughout the game, especially I think it was like one point in the third quarter. We just couldn't make a shot to save our life, and the fans just went off like we were just booing. Then everybody fourth quarter, the stadium pretty much emptied out. I stayed until late in the fourth. It was like 5 minutes left in the fourth before I decided to bounce.
You wait that long?
Okay, hold on. I got this where P Assassin says we're not being realistic.
Phil said I'm making my dog rewatch the game.
Yeah, I know. I heard that. I saw that. He said the Harden trade left us with too many holes. What's the too many holes we got? Because we traded him. We traded
backup center
for backup center. Okay, that can be replaced.
Shooting guard,
and you don't.
And then best on ball.
Nope. Ben not leaving the hole because Ben already wasn't playing. So that's not a hole
Ben was about to start.
No, playing. But that's not a hole.
Was about to start as a hole.
Stop. You believe everything.
Daryl
believe everything.
Daryl Morey was on a program today, and he said
Ben was not
had a
playing.
plan to reintroduce Ben.
Ben had a plan to reintroduce Ben. Ben wasn't going to reintroduce himself.
First of all, I think that's cat. I don't believe that
because they was going to give him more money.
I don't believe that. That's cat. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I don't care what Morey said with that. That I don't believe. I don't believe with no plan to reintroduce Ben. Ben wasn't playing this year. Because why he say that then, and why earlier did he say that they was planning on or willing to sit on Ben the whole season and not trade him into the offseason?
That was all of that was gamesmanship. That was like
that's gamesmanship.
So that's okay. Yeah, so that's gamesmanship, but not Ben coming back and playing was it get okay.
Yeah,
just believe what he want to believe. Whatever sounds good to him, like that's they told the truth. Then they lied.
We were about to have Ben. We would have had the ball.
No, you wasn't.
Okay, so let me ask you this. According to Ben's interview, you think Ben was going to come back? That interview he gave?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
His interview made you think that.
What in the interview made you think that he said?
Because he was saying how his therapy was really turning out good. He was learning. He was getting.
Oh, he did.
Therapy was working.
He did.
So why he said he felt like he was out of a dark place now that he left the Sixers? He said he was in a dark place with the Sixers. So he was going to come in.
He was in a dark place, but it was coming to light. Like the light was getting brighter. He was getting better. He was getting better.
Where he say that at?
Where he said that, I heard when he said that it was dark. He was in a dark place last year, which he was. He was in a dark place. But
he said I was in a dark place all summer. That's what he said. He said I was in a dark place several times lately or something like that.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
he didn't really put a time frame on it.
We all know it was self-inflicted. We all know a lot of it was self-inflicted. He didn't work on his game. But the last few months, he was working on his game, working on his free throws and everything. So after the All-Star break, when those trades would go down, then guess what? His team even said they wanted them to get back on the court. Everybody was going to get him back on the court. By March, he'd have been playing with us.
I agree with Melo. MD.
I can't wait to have this All-Star break, bro. I can't wait. I can't wait to have this All-Star break because everybody overreacting to a game that we played without Harden. Never mind the fact that we just played Cleveland, who was the number 2 seed in the East right now, if not number 1, and we just beat them without James Harden with the same team. But then come back tonight and we have an off night against Boston, and Boston knocked us around tonight. Now it's like, oh, see, we done. Our trade is awful. Like, come on.
Melo MD said Ben didn't want to play with Joe anymore, period. I agree. Also, somebody said, Melo MD also said can't judge the trade until Harden actually plays. I agree. I can't. I'm not seeing how y'all saying it's a glaring hole that we have in our team and Harden hasn't even played yet. I mean, that's why Harden is here, to cover the hole that was the inconsistent play that was Seth Curry. And now we got to get somebody to replace the backup center in the boy Drummond. So we'll see. I'll give my full synopsis on it when we play, but when Harden actually plays after the All-Star break. But this is one of them games. This was just one of them games where Bulls was hot, they couldn't miss, and we couldn't make nothing. They had 81 points at the 8-minute mark in the third quarter. They just
They shot 45 threes and shot them at a 55% clip.
That's what I'm see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. They just couldn't miss. How often do that happen? Golden State, one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league. I don't think they did that yet this year. So it's like sometimes you just run into a buzzsaw, that team that just got hot. That's all it was.
I'm glad I ain't go to a game like that.
Ben was so ready to come back and play in the second half that he ain't ready to play for them yet and don't know when he'll be ready.
Trust me.
I bet he won't be ready by March 10th or something.
They asked him if he's gonna play for that game. He said he hoped to.
Yeah, he sound like what's his name? Kodak Black. I hope so.
he said he hoped to play. So
that's more. That's what you call that gamesmanship. That's more gamesmanship. He ain't playing on.
No, that's lamesmanship.
Yeah, that's exactly what that is. David Carter said Ben's interview said a lot about his unpreparedness to return soon. I agree. I don't care what Morey say. Ben was not playing for the rest of this year for the Sixers. Ben is, first of all, he's talking a lot of circles. He kind of got on my nerves in that interview a lot because he's talking out both sides of his mouth. He kind of saying it was mental illness. Then he's saying it's not. Then he's saying it wasn't. He didn't have beef with nobody in the Sixers. It's like, well, what? He never really answered the question when they was asking him, what held you from playing? Could have been fixed and all this. He just gave a whole bunch of vague answers like, I'm working on it. It's something that happened. The team knew about it. Then it wasn't about the team. It was all over the place.
That sounds like somebody with mental problems.
No, but this the part that gets me about it.
Trying to lie their way out of the city.
This the part about it that gets me, right? So when they're asking him what was his reason for wanting to lead the Sixers, and he was like, "Oh, it wasn't the front office, it wasn't other players, it was something internal." So if you're saying it was something internal with you, but you're telling the team, "I don't want to play for the team no more," so like, I mean, am I the only person? Like, this just sounds either he is certified,
like mental, right?
Even Stephen.
But you got hopes that when he gets there, all that mental stuff is just gonna go away because you put it on the next year.
You know what happens? A lot of times when you have a change of scenery, you may just, like, some people like, this job, I don't care. I've been.
You think it's gonna cause them to change?
Go ahead. Let him finish.
A lot of times people like, I've been with this job, and they were like, "Oh, it's new management and everything," but I just need to leave this job. This job, I need something fresh and new. So he went to 2.5 hours down 95. He found something new. I think with that team, they're like Tobias Harris and Joel Embiid, the 1 and 2 option is not as good as Kyrie and Kevin Durant.
But they're not the 1 and 2 option for the Sixers. You're talking about Harden and Embiid being the 1 and 2 option.
No. I'm talking about if Ben was still here, there would be no Harden. So I'm saying the last year, Ben's option, the 1 and 2 option, was Joel Embiid. Not this year, Joel Embiid, but
they would have had the great Seth Curry that you just said with.
It's not. I'm just saying your 1 and 2 option versus this 1 and 2 option. He can excel with that 1 and 2 option because it's not that high demand. Is not going to be the same as it is with the one that he had with Joel and Tobias. Kyrie and KD don't need him to score a lot of points. He can be.
So when he gets fouled,
run the
So when he gets fouled in the throes of a game, is the pressure going to hit him?
No, but it's not going to be Tobias. It's not going to be a game where Kyrie going to end up with 4 points like Tobias did. Not going to happen.
All I said is when he gets the ball and he's fouled in the clutch, you telling me that everything is miraculously done. He's going to command the ball to handle the ball and be their perimeter. He's going to be their ball handler in the fourth quarter of games. Is that what you're telling me?
He said that he worked on his jump shot, on his free throws. He was in the gym the whole time. I'm just saying, this is what he said.
Jawan Q, I agree, said Ben is not mental. He's calculated and couldn't hack the pressure. I agree with that. My thing with Ben is that what was you saying? I forgot what. Nah, see, now you made me forget. You and Wayne started talking. I forgot my whole point. What I asked you? I asked you a question about the what? What I asked you a question about the press conference or something? Oh yeah, no, that's what you said. There you go. You said Ben's change of scenery was if you mental a change of scenery automatically clears your mental health. It cures that. That's what you're saying. A change of scenery would cure you.
It could help you.
Okay,
it could be part of the process of you getting better.
Okay, but it still you have to do work internally. Like
that's what you're doing.
If it is indeed the fact that he has mental issues, which I don't believe at all. I think he threw that out there once he tried to get his money. So nobody never heard of his mental health situation until his money was jeopardized, and then he started.
Most people don't like Most people don't want to tell everybody that they see a therapist or they experience mental issues.
Yeah, and most people don't want to lose millions of dollars neither, so they throw out anything at that point. So sure. I mean, if it is the fact that it is mental. It's work that has to be done. It ain't just a change of scenery that's going to get you there. So maybe he's doing the work. Maybe he's not. I don't know.
Ben told y'all already he is who he is.
But that's my thing. In the interview, he said over and over again that he just wants to get back to being him. I firmly believe that he was a little bit thrown by the fact that he was constantly being pushed to evolve his game.
Yeah.
Yep. He didn't want to. And he's kind of telling you in so many words, I don't want to. And you could tell that because the first thing Steve Nash was saying there, well, Ben could do 1,000 things besides shoot. We're not really looking for him to shoot. All this, so boop, they back to that again.
Don't that sound like what Doc was saying?
They back to that again.
And it will work. So, it can work if you have Kyrie and Kevin versus Tobias and Embiid.
Is he going to have Kyrie?
What'd you say? Yeah.
Is he going to have Kyrie?
He'll have Kyrie.
Is he going to have? Is he going to have?
Juan. I'm sorry, Juan Q.
Is he going to have KD? Because KD been injured a lot the last few years.
They're telling him he's going to have him. Plus, he'll have Steph Curry, who he was hooking up last year, and he's going to have Drummond, who's a great rebounder.
Will Conway. I agree. These are the same. He said these are the same people who panicked when Embiid was recovering from COVID. And then Embiid went on a monster streak. Remember, there's people like Tim. See, Embiid, Embiid need Ben. Embiid is this, Embiid is that. Then Embiid went on, and now he's averaging 29 points a game. Like come on.
No. Why this is kind of a little irritating because this Boston team has been a thorn in the side of Embiid since he's been in his career. I mean, that's the team. What? Yes, this is the team
that the team he was scoring 30 points again in the playoffs.
This is the team that swept us in the playoffs. Mind
him by himself scoring 30 points a game
without Ben Simmons.
No, that's okay because Ben Simmons is the person that scored 1 point in the playoff game.
I'm saying this is the same.
They got
team
benched for TJ McConnell.
Guess who? What team did he do that against?
What, Boston?
Scored 1 point. It was Boston. That's what I'm saying. So Boston has the number of this 76ers team, and then like 2 years ago,
I don't agree with
they got some of the pieces back. That used to hurt us. Like they got the boy Tice back.
Tice used to hurt us.
They got Horford. They got Horford. These are the bodies that they used to throw at us.
I really enjoy y'all.
It's similar to the roster. It's a similar roster. A couple people.
Go ahead.
A couple Bulls are gone, but it's still a similar Boston roster.
We'll see when we got our full complement of players. We get Harden back in the lineup. Millsap. Actually, I mean, I know he's playing garbage time, but I think he's going to be maybe some motivation off the bench. We'll see how much he can give us. Phil Evans said Kyrie going to leave mid-March to solve the critical race theory. This is why I'm not convinced. And I know he's trolling, but I'm not convinced that the Nets is going to be. It's so much dysfunction. I was listening to to First Take, and the dude Wiles on there made an excellent point about the lack of structure and leadership with the Nets. That he went all the way back to when Nash, before they got a coach, and then they signed Nash, and Kyrie was there, and Kyrie was saying how we don't need a coach. I forgot all about that, actually. We don't even need a coach who like almost like who Nash. Like, we could do this on our own. And then you've seen throughout the months the track record of dysfunction, even with the whole Kyrie situation. Kyrie couldn't play because he wasn't vaccinated, so they just benched him all in general. Kyrie being KD man, KD probably made it stink like, yo, we need to get him in here, get him. Now all of a sudden, out the blue, everything's changed. Now he's playing. So it's like, what are y'all doing? Is he playing? Is he not playing? Like, everybody trying to throw shade on Harden out the door, but y'all organization is a dysfunctional organization. Harden probably came in thinking that he going to have Harden.
He ain't speak to nobody after the game tonight. He just started
Hey, Piper, listen, the only reason why I said about KD, we know Embiid has his injury history. But my thing is, people be real quick to always bring up about Embiid's injury. And well, what if Embiid go down? What if the last few years, KD been injury prone too? So, you know, because Tim real quick to be, well, what if Embiid go down? You know, Embiid injury prone. There's a lot of boys that's injury prone nowadays. So
yeah, hit that like button. Hit that like button.
I just don't think the Nets have the front office for it. Even Millsap, when he was talking, they was talking like there was no structure over there. So, but I mean, Boston. I mean, Boston is a hot and cold team, though. Boston go through stretches when they look like world beaters, and then they go through stretches where they look like they go through stretches where you're looking at which one of them they going to trade. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of Boston, kind of like how the Sixers was with Embiid and Ben. It's like when they going bad, then people tell me, well, you got to trade one of them. You got to trade one of them. Then when things clicking, it's like, oh, they're one of the best tandems around, and talk about their win percentage and everything else. So we'll see.
Giannis was 17 and 21 for 50 points tonight and 14 rebounds.
I thought you said Giannis hurt his ankle or something.
I thought he did too.
Okay. So on the hurt ankle, he dropped a 50.
He took off the last game.
But remember,
Stephen A. said, go ahead.
I was remember when me and Wayne
the stopper. I mean, Ben's supposed to be the Giannis stopper.
Yeah, exactly. Remember me and Wayne. I think all of us on here was saying Giannis probably the best overall big man in the game. Remember, we got crucified in the comment section. Everybody was cut. Right. Giannis beat is playing exceptional this year. Giannis is just a different type animal, man. He a freak for a reason, but he gonna be a problem in the playoffs consistently because he's just that good. But yeah, Charlie M, Stephen A did see through the nonsense. This is why I said that to Tim and them earlier in our Polo chat. I said Stephen A saw right through it. He saw the same thing I saw. Ben talking a whole bunch of hocus pocus. He's saying one thing and then saying something else. It's like, oh man, look, I'm glad we moved on from the trade. Somebody said it earlier, and I think it might have been Pierre Assassin or something. He said that Ben wasn't going to play. Kind of what we've all been saying. Ben wasn't playing anyway, so it was time to move on. We if we had kept Ben and didn't make a trade, I think the way he said it, we'd have gave up on the season. I firmly believe that too. We made a trade to legitimately try to get us into the championship this year, and we'll see how it goes when he play after the All-Star break.
My opinion, I just think I still want Harden. I just would have waited to the offseason. That's all I'm saying.
So my thing is, we've seen this bench and we've seen this team go on tears where they do shoot and they do hit. So you telling me that if you bring a James Harden who's averaging 22, 8, and 10 assists, you telling me Harden's not going to get a lot of these guys more open shots? You telling me that you telling me Harden coming in here is not going to ease some of that where Embiid can't be triple teamed like that?
I still want Harden. You act like I don't want Harden. I just want
you be hating on the low. I'm letting everybody know. Tim and I chat be hating on the low. I'm telling you, he's saying little slick comments, hating on B and hating on Harden. But David Carter, he said we focusing too much on the mental, but not on him not taking responsibility. Which was clearly revealed in the interview.
But that's part of the mental.
I agree. No, but I agree with what he's saying. They asked Ben about what would he want to change or something like that. What's he going to do going forward? And he said he never said throughout any of his interviews, I'm working on becoming a better player. He never said that. He always says
he did.
No,
he said he want to get back to being the old him.
He said he wanted to. Yeah, he never said nothing about being a better player. The only thing when somebody directly asked about his free throws, then he said, "Well, I've been working on my free throw shooting and all that kind of stuff like that." He was asked directly, but he don't take accountability. He never has. He never will. This is who he is. And Herb mentioned that he got his money from the Nets. That's fine. I don't care about his money. I'm perfectly fine with him going to the Nets. Everybody think, they're a contender now because Ben went. They took a dysfunctional person and put him with other borderline dysfunctional people and a borderline dysfunctional organization. And y'all think that's the championship pedigree? Okay. I'm fine with y'all thinking.
Are we going to act like James Harden has been the poster child for functionality?
Nope, I never said that. I'm just saying.
But I'm just saying we took their dysfunctional person and they took our dysfunctional person.
No, he wasn't the most dysfunctional person on the net.
Doesn't matter. Just why
that's why he wanted to leave there.
The boy Brown.
They didn't have structure.
The guy Brown that's part of. I forget his first name, but he in his press conference yesterday. He said it's like overnight the locker room has completely changed. He said that it's the energy, the vibe is so much better. He said, they said this is based off of the trade of James Harden getting out of that locker room.
So did they lose the first game after the trade?
Well, because none of the players played. What are you talking about?
Yeah, okay. But the locker was such a place,
so
you lost that game. Okay.
And then when all the players played, when they finally got Seth and when they got Drum, when they all played, they won.
I mean, let me ask you this: have we heard about him? Outside of him wanting out of Houston after being there for like 7 years, have we ever heard this before that he was dysfunctional in Houston, that he didn't want to? I never heard nothing like that before. I may have heard like he didn't come up.
2 teams in 1 year.
I'm just saying, but it's so many reasons why that could have happened.
So you're making
he's older, and he thought he was on a stable. No, he thought he was on a stable team. He older. He's not going to ride away a couple years in a bad situation.
He might have got there and realized, this joint, I thought it was better than what it was. This joint suspect. Maybe that could have happened. I don't know the inner work. All I'm going by is what I see. The inner workings of the Nets look suspect. They said Kyrie couldn't play. They said no, he's not playing, and all of a sudden he's playing. Like what type of games y'all playing? He might as well just been playing from the very beginning. Y'all know, and not y'all back. Y'all got KD's the most passive aggressive superstar I've ever seen.
No, he's not a loudmouth. You don't gotta be all vocal and giving all these speeches. That's why you gotta coach.
KD is passive aggressive.
That's why you gotta coach.
Yeah,
leaders lead and leaders win.
Listen, KD's so passive aggressive. He's so passive aggressive. He had a burner account. He had a burner account to answer to people that was tweeting about him. Come on, stop.
No, that leader gave home the gold medal for the United States this past summer. He's a leader. He's more.
Do gold medals even matter anymore?
He had a whole team that was struggling. He took them got them to gold.
So he's playing against a whole bunch of foreigners. I don't care about a whole bunch of foreigners. I'm talking about other dudes.
He played basketball.
He's playing a whole bunch of foreigners, right? And he balled. He played against a whole bunch of foreigners. What has he done in the NBA? What has he done in the NBA by himself? Outside of a 73-9 I'm just saying.
Because that great team took him. He took his team, the Thunder, to a 7-game series against that great team.
Let me answer. Someone asked who's Harden going to be passing to shoot. Well, let's just look at some of the stats. Since we talk sometimes about what we see, let's talk about the actual stats. Like the fact that Maxey is shooting 39.9%. Maxey is shooting 40% from three. Who's the second person? Tobias is actually shooting 35% from three. Seth ain't here no more. So Seth and Maxey was actually shooting the same percentage from three this year.
But it's totally different.
Seth is shooting 40%. Maxey
one is a scorer and one is a pure shooter. Totally different. One is a knockdown shooter.
So now maybe Maxey can spot up and hit open threes that Seth was getting. Let's also talk about the fact that Niang is shooting 38%. No, I'm sorry. Niang is shooting 39.5%. Danny Green is shooting 38%. So you telling me we don't have any shooters?
Danny Green is fool's goal, and you know it. Stop.
But my thing is, if you're talking about a player that Harden who can set these guys up with open, clean looks, the same way when Ben was here and Ben was setting up, Danny Green getting a whole lot more cleaner looks. Now you're talking about James Harden who can do that. And if they don't step off of him, he can also score himself. So I do think that the shooting would be better with James Harden.
Real quick. I gotta address it. P. Assassin, he said, you really think after the Warriors would have one of them 2 chips without KD? No, I'm not saying that. First of all, they already went to 2 chips without KD, so it would very easily could have went back. But what I'm saying, KD needed them to win. I don't think KD would have won 2 chips and 2 Finals MVPs without Golden State. He didn't do it up until that point. I don't think he would have did it without. So
I think he would.
And I'm not saying, no, don't get me wrong, KD is a Hall of Famer baller,
but he's not a leader.
I just don't think he's a good leader. And can you win with a KD on your team? It's possible. I do think it's harder to win with somebody who's not a leader, who's not going to hold his teammates accountable. KD just a baller. He's not going to go to Ben and be like, yo, get your weight up. He's not going to go to Kyrie and be like, yo, get your weight up, bro. We need you, whatever the case. He's not a LeBron. He's not vocal. He's a passive-aggressive dude. It's hard to win with somebody like that. This is all I'm saying. So,
but he did. He got 2 MVPs on his belt. Yo, Brooks.
Yeah, thanks to Golden State, thanks to Clay and stuff.
And I do think that the Sixers players will shoot more threes because you'll have an opportunity to have a more open threes because you don't need a Tobias to try to drive and go to the basket as much if he could just stand up and spot up. If you got to guard Embiid and you got to guard Harden, some of these other guys will get open looks. I just don't want to be Thibault.
I do think that's a good point. Juan Q and Brandon Stokes was saying about him just wanting to reunite with Morey. If that was his plan from the rip, because he really wanted to be here from Houston, he wanted to come right here. So honestly, I think if he and Wayne was saying that all the time. So if that was the case, Brooklyn for real was a destination that he went to that he never even wanted to be. So that's why that was kind of a quick exit. I don't think
he was all right with Houston. I think, and remember Houston. Remember, Houston wanted to fish him in there. That's why they went and got D'Antoni.
But I don't think I don't think we would be talking about him going to 2 teams in 2 years if he went straight to Philly. I don't think that would have happened. But it is what it is now, and we'll see how it works when he start balling.
Yeah.
But if he'd have went straight to Philly, we also wouldn't have had Thibault and we wouldn't have Maxey.
Yeah, so
I mean, tonight ain't the night to argue for Thibault, but
and I'm like, maybe that should have been Thibault instead of Drummond.
Hey, Herb, by the way, please don't compare Barkley and Ben. Don't say their name. Barkley is a Hall of Famer, MVP of the league, went to the finals, balled out in the finals. Ben is never going to have the credentials next to his name that Charles Barkley. So I know you said you rooted for Barkley when he left, and so did I. But you saying you're going to root for Ben when he leaves. That's not the same. That's not the same. It's not the same. But that's cool. You'll see the light sooner or later. You'll see the light sooner or later.
Listen, I don't think that the Sixers are the hands-on favorite to win the championship, but I think that we're a better team now than we were before the trade. And then I do think that having 2 players the caliber of James Harden and the caliber of Joel Embiid will open up everything. I also thought that when Ben Simmons played last year, I thought he opened up a lot of stuff. I thought he made it easier for Danny Green to hit that corner 3. Now you see people close out on Danny Green a whole lot more because you don't have that same kind of setup. I think Harden brings that kind of a setup, whereas though he draws people in and he can find those guys. I think Harden's shown that he does that. That's why I'm saying that I think they will be a better shooting team with James Harden here, because the same way the Sixers was a better shooting team when they had Ben Simmons. You have a guy that can facilitate and get people the ball.
So tonight we played a second round playoff opponent. That's the kind of team that we're going to see. Based off of the results today, it looks like another second round exit. Hopefully,
they might be first round by the time the playoffs come. The way they on the roll right now,
I'm saying
they won't be our first round matchup though.
I'm saying that'd be like a second round opponent for us. Like,
okay, all right.
So I'm saying, to me, unless we both 4 and 5 on the 4 and 5 seed, but geez, nonetheless.
Sean, what guys didn't root for Ben? I rooted for Ben. It's funny. I went from being called a Ben lover to a Ben hater just because I called out what you did. No, because I've always been straight down the line with Ben. My whole big thing that I always said about Ben, which came true, I always said I just need him to not turn the ball over and to make free throws. I didn't care if he scored 14 points a game.
At the same time, you was a little, you along with the other Ben fans, embellish upon what he does well.
You did do that, Wayne.
I think I hear a lot of.
You're saying I embellished about what he did well just because I didn't. Because I said I didn't. I'm scoring 20 points a game.
Can I finish?
Go ahead, finish.
A lot of what I hear about Ben is the same thing Stephen A. Smith said today, which I don't agree with. How great he is on defense. He's a solid defender. I'm not saying he's trash.
He's a great
defender. Stephen A. Smith even went so far as say he could guard Giannis. I'm like, what?
Okay,
what
that
planet
was
is Ben guarding Giannis on? But this is what I'm talking. This is the over. I'm not saying you said it, but you always mention how great he was on defense. And
because he is a great defender.
No, he's not. He's a good
defender.
He is. Not great. He's not. Okay, this is my point. He's the same dude that let Bill and in the same year, Bill and whatchamacallit, what's his name?
He wasn't sticking them. He wasn't sticking them.
Exactly. Why didn't he? If he's so great, then why didn't he stick them?
Doc had him on somebody else.
This is the excuses. But anyway, like I said, I'm glad he's gone. I do. Before we close, I just want to give a shout out to everybody who's been faithfully listening and tuning in, man. That's what's up. There's a couple people. It was Falcons. I think it was Falcons after the tight end. I think is how he said his name. He said he'd been listening since Game 7 of the Atlanta series. He said he listened to that pod about five times. He a Falcon, he a Hawks fan, but he tuned in. Big shout out to him and everybody that tuned in. That's what's
Lynch. Only first of all, you saying I turned on Ben, and guess what? The whole time I said if Ben Simmons was to turn around and say I want to come back and play for the Sixers, I said I would take him back. I turned on Ben as bad as I did during the playoffs because the way he played was horrible. You don't, as a point guard, you don't turn and run away from the ball. That's what I said about him. And my thing was when the season came back around, I said I was still taking him on my team. So I don't see where that I turned on. Where I turned on.
People
I was
even
only when I wrote
exaggerate.
out with him. Ben about to be the MVP next year.
People, that's what I'm talking about. People even exaggerate about Ben passing. I don't think. I mean, Ethan talked about this. Y'all always act like he creates for the offense. I don't think Ben's not a creator of the offense. He's not a facilitator. He drives and kicks.
But he does though.
He drives and he kicks. That's all he does. That's it.
Did the Sixers not shoot better 3-pointers last year?
He don't direct nobody and nothing like that and all that. I think people.
Did the Sixers not shoot better? Did the Sixers not shoot better threes last year with him?
The league is down. Steph Curry is shooting worse. I think everybody's down for the most part shooting threes because for one they changed the ball and for two they changed the rules. So it's a number of reasons why people down on 3-point shooting. Steph Curry is shooting well below 40%. He's never shot 40% in his career. So what Ben was on Golden State and then left. So I'm not buying that. I'm not buying it. So
all right, y'all. We're about to wrap this thing up. Appreciate all the support tonight, fam.
Ali said Ben gonna be the MVP of the G League.
All right, y'all. Tell us what you think.
No, Wayne telling the truth for the most part, but he was overemphasizing what Ben does. It's a lot that they say Ben does good. A lot of what Ben does good, y'all say great, and that to me that's overemphasizing his real talent.
No.
But my whole point was Ben got rebounds. He played defense, I just want to say assists. And up until those last 3 games when he totally collapsed, he was having a decent playoffs. He was having a decent playoffs till them last 3 games.
All I want to say is this is coming from the boy Ephraim who said that Steph Curry was a better on-ball defender than Ben Simmons.
If you watch Steph Curry, I said this year, if you watch Steph, he has greatly improved.
That's
Steph
because Ben ain't played.
Steph Curry has greatly improved his on-ball defense. I said Ben is a better defender. I said Ben is a better defender, mainly in part because he's taller.
No, you
because he's taller.
Steph was a better on.
Yes, I said this year Steph has been playing better on-ball defense than I've seen Ben Simmons play. Ben Simmons' defense. Okay, I put. And this is what I said to Tim earlier. I said you're enthralled with Ben's height. If Ben was 6'2", he would not even be in the NBA. There's nobody on this chat that can argue that with me.
Well, Shaq wouldn't be in the NBA if he was
Let me finish because you trying to overtalk me because you're trying to make up the points that I'm making. He does not possess the overall skill set to play in the NBA if he was not 6'10". I promise you that. I promise you that. If Ben was 6'1", he'd be out the league.
All right, don't forget to hit the.
He wouldn't even be in the league.
Hit that subscribe button.
We try to give y'all some kind of entertainment. Despite
we'll be back on Thursday, Bucks. Hopefully, we don't get routed by 60. But thanks for listening.